We're doing cults today. Usually we have a podcast, The Ain't Shit Show. You can listen to us. We try to upload weekly every Sunday. That's not video all the time because I'm not very good at editing. However, we're working on it. We're getting there. This is the move. We're doing YouTube content for the homies. We're making fun little videos and jibs and jabs. And
we're going to be among the greats like Illuminati, iDubbbz, Creep Show Art.
Those all the Chris Chan.
All the great tubers. Yeah.
Mr. Beast. Yeah, we're coming for you. Moist Critical. You know what I'm saying? You're a national treasure. We're coming for the throne though. Anyways, today we're doing a tier list on cult leaders. And Shoggs, you wanna go through the list of who's on the list for cult leaders?
I feel like this is a segment we'll probably want to revisit later once we've done more video content and we have an even better lineup. We're starting off with some of the classics today. Mm-hmm. We got a friend of the show, David Koresh, famously of the Branch Davidians of Waco, Texas, mostly noted for their fateful end at the hands of the Department of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, a group that is not as much fun as they sound like. Turns out they're narcs. Who'd have thunk? You'd think a group going around calling themselves Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms would be some fun guys, but it's an even bigger fucking trap than calling yourself Socialist Rifle Organization.
Yeah.
To me, it just sounded like a sign up for a watch list, but okay, let's have fun.
Okay, and then next up
we have Stefan Molyneux, who I don't have a lot of familiarity with. I think he made a computer program or something at some point, or he drew a racist webcomic, or I think
Steve. So the only reason why I put Stefan Molyneux on here is because of the recent. It's the same reason that me, you, and Vosh are all on this as well, and it's because the recent changing definition of what a cult is considered by like the American Cult Association. I don't fucking know. Like probably the DSM, probably like psychiatrists or psychologists or something. Anyways,
brain
guys. They have stated that a cult now is like doesn't necessarily need to believe in like something that is paranormal or supernatural, but can instead be considered a cult based on like beliefs that aren't based on reality. So like Stephen Molyneux doing a lot of like he's like a hardcore racist. He lives in Ontario, but talks a lot like he lives in Canada, but talks a lot about like American politics, like and like how like America is falling apart at the seams. But like all of everything that he's pulling up, all the facts that he's pulling up are just either 100% fabrications or like wildly askew. Right.
So do we want to run through these guys, explain who all they are before we start, or we should just probably do it where we talk about each of them as we go?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Let's start with Koresh here.
All right.
Now Koresh has got some good points going for him. Pretty good guitarist, famously. Gun enjoyer, which is how he ran afoul of the alcohol, tobacco, firearms people.
I thought it was child abuse is what they got him for.
That's what they said, but they got him because of what was very likely appears to have been a sting operation involving this sale of sawed-off shotguns.
Mm-hmm. So cool, like cool guns, because a sawed-off shotgun is just a cooler shotgun. Yeah, cool. Shotguns are pretty cooler. Like,
no, I don't know about the allegations of child abuse. That's what the feds throw at you when they really want to make sure that nobody's gonna stay on your side.
It's hard for me to like. I don't want to be dismissive of that, but at the same exact time, you know what I'm saying? They let people slide on. They let my man Jeffrey Epstein slide. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, yeah. So I don't know if the U.S. government really cares about children as much as they say they do. Right?
They might care about people threatening their monopoly.
On
pedophilia.
Anyways, I don't know. My man's also dripped out. Right, he was cool. He looked cool. You know what I'm saying? Which is, I think, ultimately like that's the biggest draw of a good cult leader. Also, like the whole it's wild to me because like Branch Davidian belief is just like I think Jesus was probably from Texas, which is essentially what I got.
They're basically just like crazy herb Seventh-day Adventists.
Yeah, they're just like
are like the Catholic Church moved the Sabbath to Sunday, and our main doctrine is you should go to church on Saturday. Actually, there's a Seventh-day Adventist bookstore like half a mile from where I grew up. They had a pretty big presence in our town. They ran a school there.
Mm-hmm. Is that legitimately all they're doing? Is just being like, yeah.
Anti-Catholicism is a big part of it, which I can usually get behind.
Okay.
I know Koresh like was sexually involved with because he didn't found the Seventh-day Adventists. He just took it over. They were already an existing cult, and he just took over from this like old lady he was porking.
Yeah, and I do know that he was banging all the wives of the dudes in the thing, which
classic cult leader behavior. That's why I can't like Stephen Molyneux. Whose wife has he ever fucked?
Okay, this is it's a neo thing. It's new, dude. It's you know what I'm saying?
It sounds like a certain cult labeling organization is losing relevance and desperate for funding. So you're just like,
here's a goalpost, and we moved it. I get you. Anyways, okay, so yeah, the next guy after that is Stephen.
David, let's where we put old Koresh. I'd say he's a solid B tier.
Yeah.
I mean A tier kind of because of his epic finale.
Yeah, he did plug a couple ATF guys, and we don't have to hand it to him, but you gotta respect the game. You know what I'm saying? Game recognized game on that one.
All right, Stefan
Molyneux, he's a fucking, he's F tier for sure, right? Because like he's just, all he is he's a racist, and his cult is that he's finding other guys that are racist, and that's wild to me because that's not really a cult, but according to the DSM, he's now a cult leader, which is very funny to me because imagine like, we actually believe in facts and logic, and then you bring like a fucking, like a.
We don't even know who the organization is. We just default because the DSM
says
this guy's not cool.
So I'm rocking with it. The DSM said this guy is so racist. It's a cult now. That's cool and funny in a very. that is a wildly do you understand how racist you have to be for the DSM to get involved and be like, yeah, you have a cult now, dude. It's F tier, but also extremely funny. It's F tier for funny. That's what. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I just don't have much to say about Mr. Munois.
Next one. It's also very funny that. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh no.
I was gonna say it's extremely funny that the dude he talks all the shit about American politics, and he's from Canada. Like he's in Canada.
I should get him an F tier on that. Cult leading isn't a proper Canadian activity.
True that.
They don't have the sauce.
No, there's not a lot of flim-flam men from Canada, honestly. Very, not a chief export.
All right, so next we got Ramjesh. I'm not terribly familiar with.
This dude took over like a town in Portland, essentially.
Oh, I heard about it.
Yeah. So essentially, this dude was like, I don't know too much about his background, but I definitely know that he was around the time in the like 70s and 60s, I think maybe even the 80s, like on the back of like the Beatles experimenting with sitar music and like getting a bunch of white people essentially into like Orientalism. He decided it would be a great idea to like capitalize on that. So he started kind of like speaking and just doing like kind of like Vedic new agey nonsense, and then eventually he made his way like into like the American public. Lots of people were giving him money, and he bought a town in Portland and essentially tried to take over a town in Portland. And it was over like extremely, like, I think the federal government got involved, but in this, like, they got involved for money laundering or something. Like, it was a financial crime. It wasn't an actual crime, but like if they didn't get involved and like get him out with a financial crime, it was about to get violent. They like these dudes were like training to take over this town to fight the locals in this small Portland town, which is very funny.
Well, that gets him at least a B tier.
Yeah.
But take over an entire town like Koresh, he just had his little compound. The entire town's pretty good. Actually, I'd give him. You want to say give him a solid A tier?
I don't know. He got caught up for like a fucking like a financial crime, which is like a, you know what I'm saying? That's a that's a fucking nerd move. Like financial crimes as a cult leader is crazy because the whole thing is you're doing financial crimes. Do you know what I'm saying? They never get caught for that kind of stuff. They always get caught for something else.
I guess that gives him B plus.
Yeah, B plus. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I can live with a B plus on him.
All right, next up, David Miscavige of the Church of Scientology. I don't like this guy. I think he's ruining Scientology. I think that he's
making it woke now, people.
So woke, so broke.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, what has he got going for him? Let's list his positives.
Did he disband Sea Org?
I don't believe so. Why would anybody disband Sea Org if you have like? Why would you disband your international waters paradise of people who are signed to 1 billion years of servitude with you, and they all wear cute little funny little outfits?
I think I think that might have happened. I think Sea Org's not a thing anymore, but I could be wrong.
Look this up.
Yeah,
you'll have to because I have to keep this window.
Yeah, let me look this up real quick. Let me find out.
I was gonna give him a D tier, but if he disbanded Sea Org, he's down to F. No, I'd put him in C honestly, just because, and then knock him down to a D because obviously he has managed. He's managed to really take a cult and ensure its future in a lot of ways. Like I don't know if Scientology would have survived.
Okay, so yeah, it's still there. So he's still got it around. He didn't disband it.
Arguably, the worst thing about David Miscavige is that he's taken Scientology and turned it into a legitimate religion and caused it to lose some of its cult stank. It's fun. It's funk.
Yeah, my understanding of like David Miscavige is that he essentially is just doing. L. Ron Hubbard was over here having fun and doing like, hey, we're gonna do fun little cult stuff, and David Miscavige is like, I'm actually doing CIA black sites, but with religion.
Well, where do you think religion? Where do you think the CIA got the idea? Churches running these kinds of institutions. There, what was it? That Boys Town thing?
Oh yeah.
And people be like, "Well, it was disproven." No, it wasn't. It's fucking stabbed.
Everyone died. Yeah, everyone who could have disproved it died. Actually, right? Like, or everyone who could have proven it died. That's not disproving. That's just murder.
But every time I get into it about what really happened on 9/11 with people, I hate the fucking argument that people have. You have it for a lot of conspiracies where it's like, there's no way that could happen. Too many people would have to keep it a secret. It's like, I don't think they did because people know about it. I don't think they care about keeping things a secret.
It's true.
They just care about deniability.
What is it called? It's the there's like.
Actually, they kill themselves like that. Usually with like a rifle, and they have to get the trigger with their toe.
I probably have to cut all of that. but
we're past the 30-second mark. We can say whatever.
All right. Anyways, I think personally, I'll give him a C. Because he doesn't have. You're right. He doesn't have any of the stank, right? And that's what you want a cult for. You want a cult for the stank.
He's been a good administrator in a lot of ways for Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
He's kept the ship afloat, as it were, the Sea Org afloat. So moving on, we got Elijah Muhammad. Nation of Islam.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Put some respect on his name.
In terms of just he's top tier, but what about his behavior? Like, is he carried himself like a leader?
I think. Yeah, my man travels with like a fucking shit ton of security, like he traveled with like an insane amount of security, like more than a normal, like, most people have like some kind of like fucking, like maybe 1 or 2 guys, but my man had like legions of dudes that always stood around him no matter what. like ready, just ready, strapped up. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta. That's to get people to put their lives on the line for you like that. That's some real. That's real cult shit. I like that. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with that. But also, like he gave us Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? Like no, wait, not Muhammad Ali. Malcolm X. He gave us. I always confuse this fucking, and I don't know why.
That's a good movie.
It's because they're two good movies, and I think that they're the same movie. But I know they're two different guys, and actually, I know so much about Malcolm X. My brain
He's a cool character. I love him. I love all the Zoot suits in the early part of the movie. It's like if you want a movie with Zoot suits, you can't go wrong.
Yeah,
with Malcolm X.
Malcolm X
cool
is
like superhero movie. Malcolm X is a cool superhero name.
I'm actually a Malcolm X truther. I think that Malcolm X is Mexican because he wore Zoot suits. He's just that's me personally. That Malcolm X was inspired to become a revolutionary based on his love for the Mexican culture by wearing Zoot suits. That's
Elijah Muhammad take his followers' money and fuck their wives though.
No. So he did take their money, but he did not fuck anyone's wives because my man was a true believer, right? So you're right. He doesn't really. Yeah, he's kind of. I want to give him a B for that. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't do anything stanky, really. I just want
doctrine off the charts. Yeah. Great stuff, but like, it sounds like he wasn't having fun with it. No jouissance. Mm-hmm. No jeu de vie.
He didn't have that je ne sais quoi. You know what I mean?
The I'm using the most loathsome of all Yakubian languages. Unless a French lady speaks it, then it's suddenly really fucking good for some reason. Man, this is why I can't like the Wachowskis. I've been watching Sense8, and I'm like, I really want to live in top 10 like modern filmmaker. But I remember they showed me Monica Bellucci's tits, just big old. But then right next to him there was a loathsome Frenchman lecturing me for like 10 minutes about like high school tier philosophy. I was like.
He's like, you ever eat a cake? You ever eat
on your permanent record?
He's like, you ever eat a cake so good you bust a nut? that's all.
The cake is so good that you
your pantalons.
Come in that panties, mom. Big fat Italian tits are just right there.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. I've been softening up on the Italians lately. Like maybe more.
They're good people.
Now, all right, who we got next? I can't see his face. But
yeah, it's Father Yod. Is
Father John Misty?
No, Father Yod. I don't know anything about him, but
why isn't Father John Misty on this list?
It's Father Yod, I think his name.
I think he's had sex with a lot of people's wives.
Yeah, it's Father Yod, or actually it's pronounced Yohawa. Let's see. Let's get a little into this one. Essentially this guy, the Source family. Okay, yeah, that's yeah. My man started the Source family. Do you know about the Source family at all?
I've heard of them, but then I got them mixed up with like the Process Church.
Yeah, they're all essentially the same.
And then there's the Family International, which has like 100 names or something. You have the people from the Family International. That'd be the Family International, there's a fucking cult.
Yeah.
They're a fucking cult right there. They don't make them like they used to. That was like back when America was still like a real fucking powerhouse of like creativity and production. Even our cults were so fucking strong. We got Scientology out of it.
Okay, so essentially, he's a dude who decided to go like be a fucking. Essentially, he got training from a yogi. Then he's like, actually, I have super secret psychic powers, so I'm gonna go start my own cult. So he created essentially. Like he used like Christian mysticism, like Western Christian, like Judeo-Christian values to like talk about Vedic text, which were things written in Sanskrit. So I don't know what the fuck my guy was like. My I don't know what he was trying to do, but he changed his name to Father.
Like 70s fucking Jesus people.
Yeah. There's like the real Jesus is actually Indian, and we're doing like, and spoken these. Is you know what I'm saying, is actually Shiva. I don't fucking know. They're insane, right? Anyways, they live together in Hollywood Hills in a mansion in Los Feliz. let's see. Jesus Christ, they were grossing $10,000 a day at their peak.
Okay.
All right, so that's interesting. Some of the doctrines of the Source family were kept, well, most of the doctrines of the Source family were kept secret. However, the generally adopted way of life was natural health, organic, vegetarian diets, communal living, and they had a communal group of 150 people in Los Feliz selling pamphlets. Bro, they were selling 150 people were selling pamphlets and making $10,000 a day in their peak. What the fuck was going on in the 70s? That's crazy money. That's drug dealer money. What the and they're just,
people were like, the 70s was like the fucking time to be a cult leader in America. I think people were fucked up by a combination of like the hippie dream failing due to a much better cult leader who we'll talk about shortly.
Mm-hmm.
And the empty, hollow, fucking post Watergate, everybody's got this like shit, man. Maybe America, the war.
Maybe it's bad. Maybe America bad.
Yeah, well, we got to spend a few years. We beat the fucking we helped the Soviets beat the fucking Nazis. And we rebuilt the country.
We didn't beat the Nazis. We did not beat the Nazis.
We helped, because I rephrased. We helped the Soviets.
No, we helped the Nazis escape the Soviets.
That's after we helped them beat them.
Yeah, no, I don't know. There was
we got rocket scientists out of it.
Nah, we buzzer beat like a motherfucker because they were about to get defeated and we're like, hey, you guys want to jump ship? Hey, you guys want to come over here and build us rockets? And that was it. That's how we did. That's
why we helped the Russians beat the Nazis, because they had dudes we wanted, and as long as the Nazis were a thing, they weren't going to work for us. And we're like, hey, you want to come over and build some rocket ships and maybe a surveillance state?
maybe a Fourth Reich if we're lucky, you know. Jesus Christ. Anyways, so he had 14 wives and 3 children, which 14 wives, sick, but 3, that math don't add up.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, yes. My man was either blasting blanks or he just was not. He just had
Elon Musk better at that.
Yeah, that's 14 wives and 3 kids. He's not fucking. You know what?
Elon's had like 3 wives.
When
and 14 kids.
When the Source family is sending their cult leaders, they are not sending their best.
Man, his cum just.
Yeah, dude. For that alone, we're giving him a fucking. He's D tier. That's
I was gonna put him in. I don't know. I mean, that's good money though. But then he's just doing like white boy Hinduism.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like I guess C, just because that's a strictly average, like run of the mill. What happened to them? How'd they fall apart? That's always important.
Okay. Oh, he just died in Hawaii.
Oh, fuck off. Well, that's kind of winning the game, honestly.
Yeah. He just.
You either die with the feds, or if you getting arrested is losing. Retiring or being shot by the feds is winning.
He died in a hang gliding accident.
Okay, yeah, I'm leaving him in C just because. All right, he got away with it.
Yeah, he got away with it.
All right.
Yeah, that's
enough for Father Yodowski. Fucking now, American original, one of the greats. I already know.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna put him in the S. You got to put him in the S.
S tier.
L. Ron Hubbard. Yeah, the GOAT.
Greatest American since Benjamin Franklin.
Real flim flam man hours, which is what I love and respect about him. You gotta love a flim flam man. All right.
Absolute genius. Honestly, they only hated him because he was challenging the Freudian pseudoscientific human security system, fucking conspiracy Illuminati brain police institution. He wanted to deal with things a little differently than the current shamans, and the current shamans, self-appointed as they are, but protected by the state, objected to his brave discoveries that he found out from a lifetime of travel, meeting all of the peoples, taking peyote with tribes that had never seen a white man, and gaining their friendship.
See, now you're believing. I think now you're believing
Oh no, I don't believe any of that shit.
Yeah.
He almost started a fucking war with Mexico accidentally.
I think my man is he's one of the most talented flim-flam men to exist in recent memory. He's just and you know what? That's the American dream, baby. Being a con man, growing up to be a con man. That is the way, right? That's all that America is. It's like, oh, I have no discernible skills and talent, but I do now.
He has discernible skills and
talent.
Even if he never started a religion, he'd still be in the books as like the most prolific pulp author ever. Dude was like just pounded like gallons of black coffee and over the counter speed and just cranked out like a
True, he was a shit poster way before his time. You know what I mean? One of the greatest, one of the best to ever do it, and we gotta respect the poster because posters post. So yeah. That's a slam dunk Rooney S tier.
Oh yeah! If y'all ever want to get a good book about L. Ron Hubbard, Barefaced Messiah by some guy who wrote a good book about L. Ron Hubbard. Real great shit. I got a pretty good Scientology collection for somebody who also has a stipulation that I don't buy or I'm not interested in hit pieces on Scientology. Like I don't want
you want fluff. You want the fluff.
I had a bad time at church too, and I grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
I want analysis. I want the good shit. And they put me in a room and they were yelled at me. Oh wow. They made me.
Yeah, I was Jehovah's Witness. I also was Jehovah's Witness, pal. Shut up. I get it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, have you ever heard of the Roman Catholic Church? How many fucking people they've killed? How many good ideas they've suppressed? Anyhow, moving on. Another American original.
True that.
Charles
Manson.
Manson.
Okay.
Old stinky Charlie.
Knowing stinky is the right word. Knowing what I know about Charles Manson, I am conflicted by it. You know what I'm saying? I'm deeply conflicted by my knowledge of Charles Manson. Because
racist.
Yeah, well, extremely so. But also
he thought the black people would win the race war.
That's not progressive, shoggs. That's not as progressive as you think it is. Jesus Christ, dude.
I know. This is, worth noting.
I'm not even talking about the racism part. Like, more or less.
Then he was like, then we'll emerge from our bunkers and take control. Savage.
He's more or less like, he's just, if you look at him, really look at like everything, he's just one of these guys that was like, essentially, he's a proto FBI shooter. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was like,
I get it.
Yeah, he was like, so prior to the FBI, like having, like convincing, hey, don't you really hate women? Don't you want to go shoot up some places? You know what I'm saying? Before the FBI had guys like that, like in droves on the internet, they kind of only had like convicted felons that had nothing, that were down and out. And so like that's kind of where Charlie Manson met the people that allowed him to like move in the circles that he moved in. You know what I'm saying? Like his parole officer was like some like FBI's deep fucking, deep state spook type guy that was like trying to fucking, helping with MK Ultra stuff. You know what I'm saying?
They weren't as good at it back then.
No.
They didn't have as much practice as they do nowadays.
No, but like there's tons of like stories like that are not as common about Charles Manson that are actually very interesting to me. And one of them was that he got pulled over by a sheriff in like the fucking Hollywood Hills, like the actual, like not in the Hollywood Hills like that's like rich and stuff, but like in the ranch essentially of all like the outskirts, like the fucking like literally. And he had a technical, which, like a fucking truck with a fucking 50 cal machine gun mounted on the back. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he had that. They caught him. He's a convicted felon, and he was driving around in that with two other people. The sheriff called it in, and they had him in cuffs, and they were ready to fucking take all three of them to jail. And Charlie from what the story goes, or the legend has it, Charlie was laughing the entire time. He was laughing his ass off. And as soon as he got back to the station, the police officer gets called into the main office, and they uncuff him, and they drive him back to his technical, and they give him the keys. You know what I'm saying?
Many stories like this about Manson, but I won't know how true they are.
Yeah,
is the thing, because there's so many. He's a legendary figure at this point.
Yeah,
he's just, and they're like, how much? Okay, if I was the CIA or FBI doing shit, and I'd want people to think I'm a big spooky, thing, and manipulating, like they know people know, so manipulating people's what they think they know is a really useful thing. That's like one thing I don't like about a lot of the kind of modern contemporary kook left, is I think that half these conspiracy theories about Epstein and stuff and all the connections are just like there just to get people
not interested. Yeah.
And just drive them into the same weeds that they drove UFO researchers and a lot of right wingers into. They doesn't matter who you are. They want you confused. They want you to think. And Manson's, I think, a really good
example of that. No, I agree with that, because I don't think that the FBI planned out the murder of Sharon Tate and the Folgers heiress is the only two that I remember. Like, there's another third one that I don't know, but like, I don't think they planned out that murder. I don't think they were like, yeah, we're gonna do this. I honestly think what happened was the FBI was trying to get him to do something like a terrorist act, to be like, to do what Charles Manson essentially was talking about, which was to incite a race war, so that they can, kind of show at the time an American public that was more and more comfortable with like equality and, racial equality at a time, that was fairly fucking new and fresh. Do you get what I'm saying? And like, what better way to discredit that than to have, a fucking someone starting a race war? Do you get what I'm saying? And then they can be able to jump. Yeah, that's one of my.
It was essential to the local drug trade, which I'm sure they were making a lot of money off of. So
yeah,
he's helped there in some way. He was almost certainly benefiting the powers that be, but in what regard? It's very difficult, to determine. But in terms of like where he places, I'd normally give him S tier just for becoming a living myth.
Yeah.
But he got beat up by a beach boy.
He's also a racist, so can we take one down? Just like an extreme racist. I don't want to give him an A tier to a racist.
I'm moving Elijah Muhammad just a little bit up above Rajiv.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah. I'm cool with that. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's good.
And this cult got a little, they didn't have really any longevity. Also, fucking only wrote one good song.
Yeah. Well, he did a cover. He did a cover. He did a cover of Sabor a Mi, which I'll give him points for that. Which is wild that he was way into Mexican stuff despite being a racist, which is very funny to me. Charles Manson, hardcore would like believe. Yeah, it doesn't make no fucking sense, man. It's because
I don't know if he, to put it as weird. I don't know if he was full on racist or just didn't like black people or just had
that is. I mean, that is literally racism. but like, I get what you're saying. I understand. Yeah, he wasn't
racist. Just like
he wasn't like a white supremacist. He was just like, you know what I'm saying? He was just on this weird trip of like, no, I actually don't like black people, which doesn't make any sense. Because like, if you're just why would you dip your toes into racism? You know what I'm saying? Like, just jump in, just go full, just go crazy with it. Anyways,
I suppose racism isn't just a single sea; it's many streams.
All right.
They sometimes intersect into pool into rivers, but still always flow.
Marshall Applewhite is our next.
Marshall Applewhite, a great. I'd say a.
Easy
A. Better than Crash.
Yeah, for real. He had drip too with the Nike shoes.
The feds never got a chance to shoot at him.
That's true.
Arrest him.
That's true. And you know what? I think I don't know the validity of this, but I do know that like all of the cult members that did what they did, that committed the great act, fucking,
they all died.
Well, they all did it willingly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there was no signs of coercion. I could be wrong on that, but like there was no signs of coercion There was no signs of like, it was kind of like, hey, yo, hey, Haley's Comet's coming. Do or die, homies. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I am tempted to bump him down to B tier because thanks to him, Nike decades go for like a fucking stupid amount on the secondhand market. And my Nike does not make that model anymore. And the old shoggies got on eBay like, just a black and white pair of Nike decades. And I know exactly which Nike it was, but they're not cheap.
Yeah, no, I can tell you that much.
And it's because weird guys like me want to have a little Heaven's Gates.
Wow.
I got a Heaven's Gate away team patch in the fucking drawer out there. I got to put on my jacket. I'm pretty big Heaven's classic American UFO death cult.
Yeah, I think that's what separates is that a UFO cult that's also a death cult. Because there's a lot of UFO cults in America that are just kind of like boring. They're just kind of like, yeah, we believe Venusians want to touch us on the dick, and like, oh, well, cool. You know what I'm saying?
Like right at started as soon as we started recording, you mentioned drip. I was like, I forgot to put Uriel from the Unarians there. That drip. Oh,
that's what we'll revisit. We'll do this over again.
Really quick, Uriel Unarians. Look at this lady. Oh, I misspelled it. Yeah, here she is.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
She was just like she was the queen of space.
Yeah.
Just light up Ellie. Look at that. Amazing.
That rocks. That does rock.
But they're also a very benign group, and I think that even cult researchers don't
really call them. Yeah.
Fuck with them because they're just kooky UFO lovers who like to dress up in sparkly dresses and do little drama. She's got some folks. Look up the Unarians on YouTube.
We'll do a YouTube. We'll do a duel. Me and you. We'll do a deep dive on that. Anyways, up next, Jim Jones, who I'm gonna put Jim Jones in a D tier. Right. Okay. I would give him an F. All right. Let me paint the picture for you. He's the reason why Dianne Feinstein is still in office. It's his fault. He shot the senator. Yeah. I'll give him an F for that.
It shouldn't put what? No, he couldn't know. And also, like his cult leader, I mean, clearly place him at least at B tier.
Yeah, but also like he coerced. So like he couldn't even get his fucking cult leader, like his cult members, to like drink the Kool-Aid. He had to get a lot of them to like be forced to do it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he was forced by other people who did agree to do it.
Yeah, but that's
not like you get paid for it. What are they gonna do?
That's not the See, like that's why Marshall Applewhite is the GOAT, because Marshall Applewhite was like, hey, listen, you could do it or you don't. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's up to you, pal. Like, hey, you want to go? There's the door. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be partying on Haley's Comet, whereas Jim Jones was like, yo, the U.S. is coming for us. I done goofed. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone done shot the damn senator. Like,
yeah. I can't just put it. I can't put Jim. First of all, as a Hoosier, as somebody from Indiana, Jim Jones means a lot to me. Jim Jones, like, also Charlie Manson does too. Charlie Manson, he spent his first prison stint in Indiana, which, prison is where Charlie Manson was born. But Jim Jones, a lot of the down were, poor black people from Indianapolis. He like operated a really inclusive, progressive church, and things got a little out of hand.
I'd say
he was also, I believe, at one point arrested for bathroom cruising, like in the 50s. He used to be a monkey salesman.
All those things make him cool, but I cannot forgive him for getting Dianne Feinstein.
I would normally put him in an A tier, but we could drop him down to C.
We'll do C.
I can't in good conscience put Jim Jones in anything lower than C tier.
Okay, we'll do C. C, I can live with. I can live with a C. I can live with a C.
All right. Next up,
R. Kelly.
Ronald Kelly.
Is it Ronald or Robert? It's Robert Kelly. You almost gaslit me into believing it was Ronald.
I don't know which one it is.
It's Robert Kelly. R. Kelly. R. Kelly.
It's so much funnier if it's Ronald.
It is very funny. R. Kelly is put on this list because R. Kelly he's like the Stephen Molyneux like cult, new cult, like neo cult, non-religious cult, but like more or less cult of personality, where like he was convincing women to go to his house, like, or one of many like compounds that he owned, and he was having them like live there essentially to be like sex slaves, right? But like once they got there, they couldn't leave, and that was like essentially why my man is doing, I think, 22 years in prison. That and like, you know, child abuse and sex with minors and stuff. So like I don't want to give him any. I want to put him in F tier along with Stephen Molyneux, but my man has some bangers. Is the problem? You know what I'm saying?
Trapped in the Closet is a stupid, but Trapped in the Closet is like a lot like Sonichu in a lot of ways. It's really dumb and not really great, but also a really, man, he wanted to make that for some reason. He really liked that sample, and he really wanted to keep it going.
Well, like, the problem that I have with R. Kelly is that, like, if all of his bangers, all of his good songs from before Trapped in the Closet, like all of his really good songs, you can't in good conscience like them knowing who wrote them, because it's things like I Don't See Nothing Wrong with a Little Bump and Grind, where he's talking about like
the keyword's little.
Yeah, well, no, the keyword there is like whether or not you want this, it's happening. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, very much that's essentially the song. And then Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, that he sung with an underage Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying? Like, my man, like, there's no, and the problem is that the songs are good. They're so good. They're incredible fucking songs, right? Like, they're funny. Like, not they're funny. They're like, they're horny as all hell, but like they're performed really well. It's frustrating. So I want to give him.
He's by far the best artist on this list.
Yeah. D. I'm gonna give him a D. I don't want to.
I'd give him a D. Shitty. I mean, he's not really a cult leader. I don't get this.
It's a new.
He's just a sex criminal.
Yeah, but he's
not a cult leader. He's just a rapist.
He was indoctrinating these women like by using cult leader tactics. Like, he was essentially like meeting women and being like, oh, yo, I'll make you a wife and I'll take you to Africa, and like just wild shit he was saying to these women, right? Like,
yeah, like 25% of the guys on Tinder.
Yeah. At one point, he was like saying that he was like gonna try and get them to go to the moon and shit. Like, I don't know, dude. There's the story behind it is crazy. So I kind of want to give him but he does belong to the neo cult type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
still better than Molyneux. That's the other thing. I just can't put him in the same tier as Molyneux because he's made a lot of really fucking good music.
Yeah.
I don't know what Molyneux's done. Racist webcomics.
He has a podcast. He does racist podcasting. He just does racist. He's doing the Ain't Shit Show, but serious. That's what he's doing. He's doing our podcast, but seriously. He's doing our podcast. What is he, a what?
Isn't he a Linux guy or something?
I think he also does. He's one of those 13%. He's one of those 13% guys. Like, I think he's the one who popularized that.
He came up in something before he was a podcaster. He had like
a video game. Didn't he make video games? He made Black and White. Yeah, I think he made Black and White.
No, that's one of the guys who works for, I think.
Oh, that's Peter Molyneux. See, I always confuse. There's Stephen Molyneux and Peter Molyneux.
AI is a different cult, but it doesn't have a leader except a computer.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
we're a cult with an actual god, not just a guy.
Who's the next guy? Yeah, we'll put him at the end because that's the right way to do it.
All right, next we have was it Shura? I had his name up. I need that. Shoko Asahara. Now this guy, I mean, definite H here.
He did a nerve gas attack, right? That was his thing.
Yeah, I think on the Tokyo.
What's impressive?
It failed.
Yeah,
because like only like 30 or 40 people died. When in fact, if it had not had its technical failure, it would have been one of the most devastating terrorist attacks of all time. And they had stockpiled like enough sarin gas to wipe out like all of Asia at least several times over. They had old Soviet helicopters. They were buying arms from like the Russians. Like he had his own LSD. He was fucking a man completely fueled by like manga and LSD. He's one of my kind of
Jesus Christ, dude. I had no idea the lore went that deep. I just know that he.
Oh, the Aum Shinrikyo lore is insane. Fucking the novelist he's got the same one. Murakami did a pretty good audio. I've been listening to the audiobook about the sarin gas attack. Horrible thing. Many people harmed, killed. Also, really had changed the trajectory of Neon Genesis Evangelion. And is probably at least indirectly responsible for the existence of my favorite.
Oh, I lost your audio. I can't hear you. Oh, there you go. And you're back.
Yeah, well, the sarin gas attack affected the Neon Genesis Evangelion, changed the story because they had some story elements. They were going to be kind of similar to that. Kind of like, Japanese, as far as I could tell. I guess Japan has a lot of kind of unfortunate spot in terms of like tsunamis or fires.
Yeah, or nuclear meltdown, nuclear reactor meltdowns.
Kind of just a disaster-prone area.
That's why they rock, though, because they're just like, I don't know. They just kind of like, hey, rebuild, fuck it. Build it taller this time. Okay. All right. I didn't know. Now I got to go do a deep dive on the lore because I had no idea.
All right, move this guy up here so he's a little more recognizable. Next, we got another American classic, Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith.
Of the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints.
Yeah. I just like the idea that he was just like, Jesus is probably some guy from Utah, actually.
Well, Jesus was from Israel, but after he died, he like respawned or something in America and met the original Native Americans who weren't American. They weren't Indians. They were
like white
Israelites.
Yeah.
They were Israelites, but yeah,
they were white. Listen, man.
Back then, they didn't know that Israelites weren't white.
Yeah, just don't mince words here, man. The Mormon Church is one of the most racist fucking church organizations that didn't like desegregate until fairly recently, like the 80s or 90s, right?
70s, I think.
Was it the 70s?
Late 70s, I think, is when they were like, okay, so the Mark of Cain or whatever it was, like, doesn't.
Yeah.
Mark of Cain, there was another Mormon specific one.
I think it was literally just like I thought they were like literal like aliens. Like they considered darker skinned people aliens that were like demons. Like alien, like almost like L. Ron Hubbard-esque, like C tier or like not C tier, not Sea Org. What the fuck am I thinking? Scientology style, where like very similar vibe of like they thought that heaven was a different planet. I don't know. Yeah.
Their theology is pretty cool. I kind of like their theology, honestly. Also, one of I think Mormonism is probably the first like the OG American religion.
Yeah, I don't think. The only other one I can think of is Jehovah's Witnesses.
I think they beat them.
Oh yeah, no, Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses that can't stand aren't even registering on the same map. But yeah, Joseph Smith. I'm gonna same thing where like he'd be an A if it weren't for the racism, so I'm gonna give him a B. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna give him the pass of he was a man of his time because my man was racist even for back then. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he was like,
yeah, maybe it's because he's a bad writer. I'm gonna put him next to Elijah Muhammad, though. He's above these two losers.
Yeah, I'll give him that. All right, now you know the most about the next guy.
All right, next we got Reverend Ivan Stang of the Church of the Subgenius. I'm gonna go ahead and drop F tier. Where's my fucking Wind of the World, Stang? How much money have I given the fucking church and I can't get a fucking apocalypse out of it? Fucking How much more money am I going to send you and get no fucking apocalypses out of this? I've met you. You're nice. You're a nice man with a nice wife. You're a cute couple who love each other, and you're nice and fun to smoke weed with and out with. You're not gonna fuck my. You are gonna take my money. So I guess maybe that would.
Yeah, you gotta. I would give him. I would move him up a tier. Yeah, he's before R. Kelly for sure.
As a guy, S tier. As a well, now I'm being honest. Tier, right? Love L. Ron just because as a member of the Church of I love Ivan Stang.
Yeah.
But I've actually been thinking about contacting people and being like, if we could see if we could like a doomsday cult with most missed doomdays. Doomsdays.
You could.
Like, I feel like we're qualified for that.
You probably do.
But yeah, love Ivan Stang. Great, but I'm the best writer in the group by far. Yeah, moving on. Subgenius.com, $44.99, Eternal Salvation, pull your money back. Next up, we got Jared, friend of the show, Jared Leto.
Yeah, good friend of the show. What's up, Jay-Bird?
Yeah. I meant to say for each one of them. But
Stephen Molyneux listens to the pod. Actually, he's not.
No, actually, I don't want.
He's like, I want to do this show, but serious. I want to do.
If he hears our show instantly becomes for everyone the moment it passes. It's just transitive property.
Yeah, I get it. But I like the idea of him listening to my show and being like, see, when they keep doing the racist shell game and not saying the N-word, I'm just gonna do the thing where I say the N-word, right? Like that's what his whole bit is. All right.
Actually, being racist is the least funny thing.
Yeah. It's pretending to be racist is very funny, right? That's funny. Just don't be racist. That's not funny.
Pretending to be not racist, also funny.
Yeah, it loops back around to being funny.
Jared Leto's got a cult. He had a self-identified cult leader, which automatically least tier.
Yeah.
I'd say.
My man's
probably
drippy.
In a movie that I can't think of.
He did. No, I think. Didn't he have ties with like the one that was branding women?
Nexium.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how real his ties. Every fucking those people. Like that's the thing about these people show up.
I'm missing all of your audio. I missed all of that, Rand.
I don't know. Everybody in Hollywood is in the background. Hollywood photos, and everybody in Hollywood will stand next to somebody and look at them. So I don't know how that is. I wouldn't put it past him. I just got a weird guy, kind of sketchy.
Yeah, that's another sketchy guy. I'll give him a C tier because he's dripped out. He's got enough drip to carry him to C. Do you know what I'm saying? He's got
the eyes. He's the only one on here who's really got those. That's how he does it. Just these weird, hypnotic, spooky, like you just look at him and he's like mesmer.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
He's the only one with any like remotely like. Well, I guess Manson kind of had wizard, evil.
Yeah.
Manson had like bog sorcerer vibes.
He had a warlock. He was more of a warlock. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right.
So next we have a friend of the show, Al, a Twitch streamer. Don't know much about his content, but people act the way I just added him here because the way people act about him online.
I agree.
Apparently has sex with people's wives and takes his followers' monies. So,
that's pretty high up on the list of like, I want to give him. I don't think he's fucking anyone's wives, but
for fat.
Yep, there we go. There it is.
And another word that I'm not going to say on YouTube, but you can probably hear us say on the Ain't Shit Show.
Yeah, you can
find SoundCloud and podcast applications wherever you go.
You can also give us $1 at patreon.com/thehomiecollective, and you can hear us say this other F word that rhymes with Bob Saget. And that's where we're gonna leave it. Anyways, who's this next guy?
This is Danny Shoggoth. He's some kind of Subgenius spinoff dipshit, idiot, Discordian.
What? Okay, but
poster.
what cults has he started? Has he started any cults?
He's involved in the
Okay.
Babalusa working.
Okay.
And, not really started any cults, just kind of attaches himself to cults.
So kind of a cult leader.
Yeah.
I'll give him
cult
that.
aficionado, cult consultant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like cult consultant actually. I'm gonna give you a B tier for that because that rocks. And and I
DC because he doesn't make any money.
But you do be fucking other people's wives.
Only one person's wife.
That counts. That's more than Vosh probably.
Oh yeah, I would never.
Yeah.
I mean, Vosh. I feel like, I'm gonna be fair because I feel like just because he's less racist.
Yeah, that's only by a fraction is he less racist. by like a butt hair is this guy less racist.
He doesn't hate black people. He just in his heart doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he's just racist in the way that like he's dismissive. If you're not white, he's dismissive. All right, who's this last guy on the list?
Next we got Marcos, the homie. I'm gonna give him F for fat. F for fat. I think Marcos got a few more things going for him.
I do definitely listen. I have started a cult so far, the cult of Babalusa. I have channeled an actual god. Do you know what I'm saying? That's cool. Prior to that, I was building mimetic, ideologies called homeism, which we had a few adherents to. So like, I feel like I'm in the works for it. I absolutely will fuck your wife. It like. Absolutely. Look, I want you to be involved in it too. Like I might fuck you too. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the beauty of it, right? There's more than enough of me to go around. The one problem though, and this is what's always gonna drop me, I think I belong on the F tier with it, is that because I will never take your money. I don't want your money. I just want the booty. You know what I'm saying?
That is a big problem.
Yeah. All these other guys are in it for. You're above me. I will give you that because like you want money. You want the thing that makes the most sense to have. Me, I just want to bust nuts. You know what I'm saying? It's an entirely different. I don't know. I don't think that's as. Yeah, I want to give you. I would say give me an F, but put me in front of Vosh because I'm absolutely not racist. I'm the least racist out of these three, but you could be in the D because you want the money and that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
But you are F for fat, but you're also D for D.
D for dick.
I would put you in D tier. We're not the worst. We're not. Hey, folks, the joke is that we're actually talking about ourselves here. Just put you in. But we got room to improve.
Yeah,
I think unfortunately for us, we'll probably max out at B tier even after a lifetime of work.
I think I can hit. I'm striving for the S, but I don't want to fuck any. Like I don't want to like take any money. So it's gonna keep me. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna keep me low for a very long time. But
my desire to be amoral is clouded by my growing up in a Judeo-Christian kind of American liberal mentality. That no matter how much I want to bit out of me and reconstruct a new morality based on maybe some more sound principles that would be offensive towards the American Christian liberal kind of sensibility that affects even the most strident Reddit atheist little bitches. But I'm hampered by it. I'll never be able to get S tier or A tier. There are some things I'd stop short at.
Yeah, see, my problem is that like I just don't want money. I just want to bust nuts with my homies. And that's, you know what I'm saying?
People want to bust nuts, want to let you bust more nuts.
I get that, but also like I don't want to be exploitative about it. Do you get what I'm saying? That's my problem. I'm happy when people give me $1. I feel bad when people give me 10. I feel like that's too much. Do you know what I'm saying?
How can you love con men and flim flam man without like internalizing that the mic is the flim flam man's lawful prey?
Because I don't.
You cry when you watch nature documentaries and the coyote gets the bunny.
I don't want to, because like, listen.
Not that represents my worldview in any way.
What I like about the Flim Flam Man, what I love about the American Con Man, and what I think is so cool about him, is that essentially it's a guy who can look at, like, it's a con man, and especially in America, is a hopeful character. It is a character, it is an archetype of hope and essentially like some kind of foolishness, right? It's tomfoolery at its best, right? Like, and that's what I respect and like about him. I don't like the exploitative nature, and I think that actually gets in the way of like maximum shenanigandery. Do you get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, all I really want to do is I want to cause shenanigans. I want shenanigans. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I want to convince a bunch of people to march on the White House, and then and then when they get there, they'll be like, "What do we do now?" I'm like, "I don't know. I never said to march to the White House." Do you get what I'm saying? That's shenanigandery at its finest, at its core.
Look at ALF.
Yeah.
The band. They burned them. Those fucking Discordians had an ice cream truck that they drove around, and they burned 1 million pounds. To burn 1 million pounds for just shenanigans, first you have to get a million pounds.
I get you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you make a little bit more sense, but also I don't want to be exploitative about it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they just pioneered dance music and stuff.
Yeah. All right. Anyways,
which is a lot harder than being a cult leader.
Being a little goofy guy. All right. I think we're good. I think we got what we wanted for.
Well, what a cult leader is. What is the meaning of this? Why are we so fast? What is it fast? What happened? Imagine the Chris Chan documentary. Ding.
Yeah.
What is it that keeps us interested? Story of religious movements.
If you like this stupid YouTube video and you like our sense of humor and you liked hearing a shit talk, me and Shoggy also have 2 other co-hosts on our podcast called The Ain't Shit Show. It's available on pretty much every streaming platform, every podcast platform. We are also trying to put out more content on YouTube and for Patreon, and we appreciate everyone who is supporting us on our Patreon. You can give us $1 and or more, up to $10, and get a bunch of stuff with that. And I'm trying to create more things, and I appreciate everyone. Yeah.
It's patreon.com/the Homie Collective. Or look
in the link below. No, it's. I'm just gonna put it in the comments. I'm not that good at editing. I don't know where to look.
We're gonna look really fucking stupid in a couple years when the about info on videos to above it.
Okay, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. All right, bye everyone.
We're gonna smash that subscribe button like it's somebody else's